Hello everyone. Welcome back to Chapter 1. Today I'm going to talk about a movie named The Villagers. Spoilers ahead. A high school student named Han Soo-yan is shown crossing a bridge late at night at the beginning of the film. Anxiously, she and someone else jump into a car and drive away. After that, the focus switches to middle-aged boxing coach Ji-chul. He enters a restaurant with a trophy that his student won for coming in second in a game. The student was meant to win, but for financial gain, a dishonest official manipulated the results to favor the opponent. Ji-chul, known for his short temper, has zero tolerance for unfair treatment of his students. When the official tries to argue with him, Ji-chul punches him out in one swift move. Unfortunately, the man is the vice president of the boxing association, who has the power to ban Ji-chul from coaching. Ji-chul's sister is furious, as this isn't the first time he's been expelled from an organization for fighting. She uses her connections to secure him a new job as a gym teacher in a remote town. On his way to the town, Ji-chul's car gets a flat tire. While waiting for help, he spots a missing person poster for Soo-yan, the girl from the beginning of the movie. Someone has scrawled a mocking message on the poster. Disgusted, Ji-chul tries to erase the writing but only makes it worse. When he arrives in the town, he witnesses 3 high school girls bullying another girl. The victim is Yoo-jin, Soo-yan's best friend, who is angry at the bullies for defacing Soo-yan's posters. Although the bullies deny doing it, it's clear they don't want Soo-yan to return. The females angrily order Ji-chul to keep out of the altercation as he intervenes to break it up. He later gets back together with Dong-soo, a former pupil who is currently a police officer. Ji-chul is greeted warmly by Dong-soo, who also shows him about the town. Yoo-jin, in the meantime, pays a visit to Soo-yan's grandma, who is her only relative. The elderly grandmother is distraught and deeply worried about Soo-yan's absence. Yoo-jin and Soo-yan's grandmother are the only ones making real efforts to find Soo-yan, as the police barely seem to care about the case. One day, Yoo-jin goes to a rooftop where she reminisces about her time with Soo-yan. While lost in thought, she suddenly recalls that Soo-yan used to work part-time at a club. Determined to learn more, she digs around, finds a business card for the club, and decides to investigate. Meanwhile, it's Ji-chul's first day at his new job. The principal introduces him to the staff and assigns him to work alongside Ji-sung, the art teacher. In addition to being the gym teacher, Ji-chul is also made the student dean. One of his first tasks is to collect overdue lunch fees from the students. During lunch break, Ji-chul asks the students for the money, but none of them cooperate. When he runs into Yoo-jin, she brushes him off too. Later, he catches her sneaking out of school by climbing over a wall. He follows her to the market but gets sidetracked by a claw machine. To his delight, he wins a stuffed toy for the first time in his life. Meanwhile, Yoo-jin stumbles upon a campaign rally for a politician named Mr. Kim. While the public views him as influential and powerful, Yoo-jin knows he's corrupted and dangerous. Ignoring the rally, she heads to the club where Soo-yan used to work. She questions the staff and patrons about Soo-yan, but no one gives her a clear answer. When the club owners threaten Yoo-jin and almost use violence, the situation gets out of hand. Luckily, Ji-chul shows up right on time to save her. He insists that the police will handle the situation and cautions her to avoid becoming involved. He returns to his flat after dropping her off at her place. A stranger follows Yoo-jin and makes an attempt to kidnap her as she makes her way home alone that evening. By coincidence, Ji-chul returns to return her phone after realizing she left it in his car. As he gets there, he sees the kidnapper, who flees as he is discovered. Ji-chul makes a police complaint and brings Yoo-jin to the hospital. However, when the police chief learns that Yoo-jin is Soo-yan's friend, he downplays the incident and tries to dismiss the case. His suspicious behavior suggests he may be hiding something about Soo-yan's disappearance. Later, Ji-chul talks to his police friend Dong-soo about Soo-yan's disappearance and is shocked to learn that the police haven't even officially opened a case. They assume she's a runaway who left for the city to escape her responsibilities. Ji-chul refuses to believe this and decides to uncover the truth about what happened to her. He visits Soo-yan's grandmother and explains that if she writes a formal letter to the police and signs a consent form, they will be forced to file a missing person report. The plan works, and Dong-soo officially registers the case. Determined to learn more, Ji-chul starts asking questions about Soo-yan at her school. He's told by a teacher that she was one of the worst students they'd ever had, frequently absent and thought to be mentally unstable. The teacher advises Ji-chul to stay out of the matter for his own safety. Yoo-jin overhears this conversation and becomes furious. She pulls Ji-chul aside, insisting that people are lying to him to cover up the real reason behind Soo-yan's disappearance. Ji-chul feels torn, unsure of who to trust. Before leaving, Eugene asks him what he would do if Su Yan were his own daughter. Her question hits him hard, making him realize that even if Su Yan ran away, she still needs to be found. Not long after, Ji Chul catches a group of girls smoking in the school bathroom. While searching for their cigarettes, he stumbles upon a hidden camera inside one of the stalls. Shocked, he takes the camera to the principal to report the issue, but the principal cuts him off and tells him to stay out of Su Yan's case. Frustrated, Ji Chul decides not to mention the camera and investigates it himself. After reviewing the footage, he discovers that the camera was planted by the art teacher, Ji Sung, whose desk is right next to his. Furious, Ji Chul storms off to confront him but finds that Ji Sung has already gone home. Seizing the chance, Ji Chul searches Ji Sung's laptop and finds shocking text messages between him and Su Yan. On the night she disappeared, Su Yan had messaged Ji Sung, asking him to pick her up from the bridge. This clearly indicates he knows something about her case. Ji Chul immediately tries to call his police friend Dong Su, but there's no response. He then contacts Eugene and finds out she's in a car with Ji Sung, who had offered to drive her home. Ji Chul quickly shares what he discovered about Ji Sung and warns her to stay alert. Eugene deftly persuades Ji Sung to divulge their destination, then surreptitiously texts Ji Chul the address so he may track her down. She observes during the ride that Ji Sung's keys have a keychain that is exactly like one that Su Yan had owned. Ji Sung abruptly hits her, rendering her unconscious, as she questions him about Su Yan. Eugene awakens to find herself gagged and bound on the floor of Ji Sung's bedroom. She notices Su Yan's phone in a cabinet while looking about the room. Ji Chul shows up and forcibly enters the house before Ji Sung can hurt her. Ji Sung tries to fight back but stands no chance against the former boxing champion. Ji Chul quickly overpowers him, ties him up, and demands answers. Ji Sung begs not to be reported, fearing the end of his career, but Ji Chul refuses to show mercy. When pressed about Su Yan, Ji Sung claims he doesn't know where she is. He explains that on the night she disappeared, Su Yan asked him to pick her up from the club. While driving her home, she received a call from someone and asked to be dropped off at a gas station instead, saying someone else would pick her up. Ji Sung says he left without much thought, but later felt uneasy about leaving her alone at night. When he returned to check on her, she was already gone, and he found her phone abandoned on the road. He insists this is all he knows. Ji Sung is arrested for his misconduct, but the police chief still refuses to treat Su Yan's case as a kidnapping, dismissing Ji Chul's pleas for a thorough investigation. Suspiciously, after Ji Chul leaves, the chief makes a phone call, warning someone to stay cautious. This reveals that the chief is covering for someone involved in the kidnapping. Back at school, the principal calls Ji Chul into his office and fires him, accusing him of meddling too much in Su Yan's case. Realizing that many people in the town are conspiring to hide the truth, Ji Chul becomes more determined than ever to uncover what really happened to her. Just as Ji Chul begins planning his next move, Dong Su calls and urgently asks him to come to a specific location. When Ji Chul arrives, he's devastated to see Su Yan's lifeless body being placed in an ambulance. Eugene is overcome with grief, breaking down at the loss of her closest friend. Knowing that Eugene is the greatest threat to the murderers, Ji Chul is aware that she could also be a target. When Su Yan's grandma learns of her granddaughter's passing, she becomes very unwell and they go to the hospital to see her. Dong Su learns that the police chief is being bought off to drop the case when he overhears a discussion among his superiors. Dong Su finds Su Yan's phone earlier and retrieves it, determined to find the truth. After fixing it, he checks her messages and discovers a discussion with Isol, a club employee. Someone knocks him out before he can do anything further. Ji Chul follows the lead and confronts Isol at the club. After some pressure, she admits that Su Yan worked part-time as a singer there. On the night of her disappearance, Su Yan received a call from the hospital about her grandmother's health. She asked the chairman of the club for permission to leave, but he began harassing her. Terrified, she fled while being chased by the club owner. Isol claims she doesn't know what happened next. As Ji Chul tries to leave, the bar owner and his men attack him. He fights them off, leaving only the owner standing. In fear, the owner confesses that he followed Su Yan to a public restroom but wasn't responsible for her death. Instead, he found her being strangled by Ji Sung, the art teacher and the son of politician Mr. Kim. The bar owner reveals that Ji Sung, enraged by Su Yan's rejection of his advances, killed her. Ji Sung wasn't afraid of the consequences because of his father's powerful influence. Furious, Ji Chul contacts Dong Su, only to find out that Ji Sung has already been released from custody. Realizing that Eugene's life is now in danger, Ji Chul rushes to Ji Sung's house. In another scene, Ji Sung kidnaps Eugene and transports her to another place. His father, Mr. Kim shows up out of the blue before he can hurt her. In a panic, Ji-sung welcomes his father and locks Yoo-jin in a closet. Mr. Kim, enraged by his son's mischief, gives him the command to leave the nation and never come back. Ji-sung accuses his father of killing Soo-yan during a furious argument. It is then disclosed that following Ji-sung's attack, Mr. Kim discovered Soo-yan alive in the public lavatory. He killed her to preserve his reputation, completing what his son had begun. While the two argue, Yoo-jin manages to escape but is quickly recaptured by Ji-sung. Just as he's about to kill her, Ji-chul bursts in and beats him mercilessly. Ji-chul takes the injured Yoo-jin to the hospital before leaving. In the meantime, Mr. Kim consolidates his position by winning the election and taking office as the town's governor. Ji-chul is furious as she watches the news. He heads toward the highway, crashes into Mr. Kim's vehicle, and faces him head-on. Ji-chul is undeterred by Mr. Kim's attempts to use his position to frighten him. The following day, national news reveals the truth about Mr. Kim and the police chief's role in Soo-yan's murder. Both are taken into prison and punished. In the final scene, Ji-chul visits Yoo-jin in the hospital and leaves her the stuffed toy he had won at the claw machine. With nothing left tying him to the town, he moves to a new city, hoping to start over. So, this was the movie named The Villagers. Subscribe to my channel for more content like this, and comment for us if you want us to recap your favorite movie. Thank you. Take care.